Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is the Players Lounge, broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your hosts, Barry Church, Heckma Harrison, and Newy Scruggs.
It's Victory Monday from the Taj Mahal of football here in the SWBC Mortgage Studios from the Star, home of your Dallas Cowboys. And raise your hand if you picked the Cowboys to win on Sunday. Oh, only the winners will speak. You know what it is. You're now rocking with the best. I'm Heckma Harrison alongside the player, ER. My man Barry Church is up in here, and I am just merely the player. That's it. That's it.
That's it.
Listen, man, I'm not gonna haze. I'm not gonna do it.
Okay, all right.
It's the first week of the game. It's the first week of the
week
season.
one.
Week one. So I'm gonna maintain my cool. I'm gonna be humble, as the old people say. Humble yourself. I'm gonna humble myself.
Woosa.
But it feels so good, though. It feels so good because they hated on us. They doubted us. And, man, we came away with this dub. But, BC, you know how I always start the show, man.
Because I was getting ready.
I know you're going to do it.
I was getting ready to get you.
I'm going to let you do that, too.
If you did, I was getting ready to get you, dog.
Before I get too hyped, I'm going to check your mentals, man. How you doing, brother?
Sure. I'm doing amazing. You
playing golf this weekend?
Not this weekend. No, not this weekend. I was with the kids all weekend, so playing that daddy duty role. So no golf this weekend, but it was a great time. I mean, weather's cooling off a little bit out there, so feels good. You know, the boys got their W, even though I was on the wrong side of that. But you know, that's neither here nor there. Feeling great, Heckma. What about yourself?
Man, I'm good, man. Blessed, man. The family's good. Everybody's good. You know, it's just all weekend football. Nothing else is happening in my life in the fall. That's all we do.
It's
man.
over.
That's all we do. All right, we gonna ride this all the way to the summertime, man. But this, you know, amazing, man. Everything is good in my life, man. But I gotta ask you, BC.
Yes, sir.
Yesterday, about 10 o'clock, your phone went off. Well, you was on air.
Yeah,
when it happened. You was on air yesterday when it happened. You have to give me your reaction to Jerry Jones basically hijacking the first week.
He stole them, didn't he?
Hijacked the hype of week one by putting the issue, putting head to bed on the Dak contract and putting pen to pad. Tell me how you felt about it, and just did he not get the bag?
Oh, first and foremost, you talking about a bag. I mean, that man got a bag from North Park Mall, from
the
Galleria, anywhere, Europe. He got every type of bag you could think of. He got it, man. And kudos to that young fella right there. I mean, not young anymore, year 8, but Dak Prescott, man. You know, he much deserved of it.
Yeah.
Much deserved of it. But when you talk about getting the headlines, week one, you know, and the National Football League is week one. Everybody's hyped about this, that, and the third. You know, my man Jerry came through and just hit him with the bombshell. Yeah, by the way, you know, we're going to make Dak Prescott the highest paid football player in National Football League history. Like, that's unbelievable. 200 and I believe, 31 guaranteed of the 240?
Guaranteed.
Might as well call it a fully guaranteed contract. But, I mean, that was outstanding. And when it first hit, I was thinking to myself, like, all right, well, that's 2 of your best offensive players locked in unison for the foreseeable future. I'm talking about CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott. So that's building block 1. You got that situated. But when you talk about a guy getting his money, I mean, this is a man that came in, 4th-round draft pick. You know, came in the building under Tony Romo. People thought, okay, this is going to be a developmental guy. Let's just, stash him away here for a little bit. He had to battle with that for that backup role with Jamil Showers for a little bit during camp. And then that first preseason game in the Coliseum against the Rams, I mean, that's pretty much when everybody on the squad at least kind of figured, okay, man, we got somebody right here. He might not play this year, but we got somebody here. And then, you know the story, how it goes. I mean, Romo gets hurt, he steps in, and he just goes from there on and becomes the player he is today. But you got to get that man signed. And Newy called it from the beginning. It's going to happen. You know, you never lose an offensive weapon like Newy likes to call him. So we knew he was going to get signed. It wasn't, if, it was more like a win. And to me, I was thinking, okay, well, if you don't get the number you thinking, you might as well wait till, free agency so you can hit him over the head for another 10, 15. But they came with a number that I believe my man had in the back of his head because he got every penny, and he's definitely worth every penny of it. You love to see it, man. I thought it was a great signing by the boys.
I mean, Barry, I think what you're pointing out is all of the leverage that Dak had
100%.
going into this season. And I thought, listen, $60 million was probably what he had in his head anyway. And he exceeded what some people thought was, when you saw those Jordan Love 55 and guys hovering around there, you know that the next step up, guys are trying to take it to 60, 65. And those were the rumors that say, hey, if he makes it to free agency, that's what it's going to be. To me, I'm just glad that you avoid the distraction of having to answer the question about Dak's contract
all
each and every
long.
week.
Yeah.
And just backing up a little bit, man. When you pointed out what he had to face coming into the league, being a fourth-round draft pick, and also having to compete just to be on the 53, and then kind of having that coming out party at the Coliseum that you've seen, and it's been every year. Like I'm just starting at 2016 when Dak emerged in that 13-3 season. Yeah. That you're looking at a guy that you're like, man, he is a leader, he is a baller. Obviously, if you look at the top tier, everybody's going to argue, well, he ain't top 5 or he's not top this. Yeah. But what all he does is go out there and ball.
Gives you an opportunity each and every week.
That's
all you can ask.
And so the coming off of what he did last season and on a 44,516,000-yard season, leading the league in touchdowns with 36 touchdowns and only 9 interceptions, that's balling.
Oh, that's a for sure baller. You ain't lying about that. When you look at Dak Prescott, you got a guy like you just mentioned who gets better and better each year, and that's what you love to see from your quarterback position. If you look at it, I think it was 2 years ago.
Yes.
Threw a lot of interceptions. Pressing. You thought, okay, man, maybe he's reached his ceiling. No, he came back last year and had the best season of his career. He cut down on his interceptions by 6, went from 15 to 9. He boosted his touchdown ratings by 13.
Yeah.
Like 13 touchdowns, went from 23 to 36.
Right.
I mean, this is a guy who's a student of the game and just continues to get better each and every year. And that's all you can ask for from a quarterback. And he was a homegrown talent. They went and drafted this guy in the 4th round. And you know how this organization loves to keep their draft picks.
Barry, since I've known you, since I met you, all you do is keep it real.
Yeah,
all right. And you're very, you have, on this show in particular, you've been critical of Dak in situations. Going for as a teammate and being a guy that's played in the NFL and on several teams, the contract, when you saw it, was it like, this is where Dak needs to be, $60 million a year? Did you say to yourself, oh, the team could have saved some money? Or what was your criticism? What did you think about the contract, just the details of it, and just knowing that he is the highest paid ever in the National Football League?
Well, when it first dropped, I'm thinking, man, that's a massive bag right there.
Now you got neighbors. You got neighbors.
I was like, he done paid. He over there with Jerry. But I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I saw the number, 4 years, $240 million. And I'm thinking to myself, man, that's a bag. But let me see what the guarantee bills is talking about, because that's the real fine print. And when I saw 231, I said, oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. It was just like, man. But that's one thing about the quarterback fraternity that they have in the National Football League. And that's why these guys just continue to get bag after bag, because they don't settle for less. It's not like, okay, well, this guy, he may be the best quarterback in the National Football League, but if your time is up and you're a quarterback, I want a number above his. Even though you may not be as good as that guy is, they're always leveling up. That way, the quarterbacks that are coming up behind them will be able to get their bag as well. And that's what I love about the quarterback position. But like you said, I mean, this is a guy, when I saw that number, man, it was just like, wow, that's what we're getting basketball numbers now. We're getting soccer numbers now. Like, that's ridiculous, man. 231
guaranteed, and obviously just the criticism that I'm hearing coming down the line, and we've talked about this on the show, is playoff performance. Everybody wants to see, like, hey, the numbers need to represent what you do also in the playoffs. They don't judge other quarterbacks by that, but they judge Dak.
And that's crazy, because look at my man in Jacksonville. He became the highest paid with one playoff win. Herb, that's my guy. Herbert's my guy. But he hasn't won anything when it comes to the postseason. But nobody really said nothing when he got his bag. So
but Jack, I mean, that's what I'm saying about Dak to the contrary of what other people have said and what they judge him by. Yeah, and so coming into this season, obviously game one, You want to see this Cowboy offense come out and ball in that first half. They gave you all of that. They looked like him and CeeDee Lamb looked like they hadn't missed any time with each other. And we're going to get into other parts of the start of the season on offense. But the biggest question marks were surrounding the defense.
There was a lot of questions.
It was a lot of questions. And the first question was, how is Zim going to be different from Dan Quinn? And in your estimation and what you saw, how did you evaluate week one for the Cowboys defense?
Defensively, that was one of the best performances, we've seen in a week one. Because usually when you come out in the regular season, the defense has they're slightly a little bit ahead of, offenses out there.
Right.
Everybody, it's a moving part offensively. You got to know everything. Defense is kind of your reactive. So you kind of have to step up early on in the season. Then we see offenses catch up, whatever the case may be. But this defense for the Dallas Cowboys, man, they were playing like their hair was on fire. And like you said, there were so many questions going into this game. What can we see from this run defense? You're starting one rookie started, which was Kalen Carson, but, Overshown missed his whole first season. So this is basically his first action out there. You're starting these young guys out there. What can they do? Under a new system, you got Kendricks in there. Is he still that linebacker that he was Pro Bowl? These are the questions that I had. I was going out there on the list. I'm not sure. I don't know what we're going to see. Diggs, we know what he was, but coming off an ACL, can he still be that guy on the outside? There were so many questions in there, and a lot of them got answered, in my opinion. And when you look at Cleveland, I was surprised that they went away from the run so early. That's something that it just kind of boggles my mind when the Cowboys go against these teams. They go away from the run super early, but whatever the case may be, they fell right into that trap that Dan Quinn had for this defense last year, and now Mike Zim's doing the same thing. You get behind, they're going to sick the dogs after you. And the missile, is that what it is now? Not the bazooka, but the missile. You talk about relentless motor. There was times when he was chipped, double teamed. It didn't matter. He made life so hard for Watson on Sunday. It was ridiculous. The man was running for his life each and every time. Odigizua joined the party. DeMarcus Lawrence turned the clock back like it was 2018, 2017.
Just where I was going.
I can't laugh. I was flabbergasted because I thought there would be a better performance offensively for the Cleveland Browns. As we talked about it, the weapons on the outside. You got Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, Njoku. This is a physical team. Even though Chubb was hurt, Ford is no slouch in the backfield. That guy can ball. So I'm sitting there thinking, man, eventually Cleveland's going to get it rolling, but it just never happened. That pass rush was immense, and rush and cover was working together because the young pup on the outside, the corner, Kalen Carson.
Come on now.
He was playing now.
Yeah.
He was playing. He showed no fear. When he got up and started, talking his talk, I said, okay, my young man got that confidence rolling. He's ready to roll. So defensively, man, it was a showing, and I was impressed because I did not think that's what I was going to see on Sunday.
Well, some of the things, and I asked you that question because I know you had the questions about the linebacker room right away. Kendricks, as long as he's been in the NFL, and how long are you going to how effective is he going to be able to be with those years? And also, how would Diggs respond to the ACL injury? One thing that I saw right off the bat that this defense was flying. Like that was the one thing. Like it's just sitting there watching it, and you're saying like just doing a comparison between last year and this year, and Dan Quinn's defense was flying too. Yeah. But the speed on the field was apparent. One of the things you were worried about was the too high safety look. Yeah. Okay. And then you saw a lot of times he tinkered with, especially played with Watson.
That was a surprise for me. I thought they was going to be back the whole time.
Right.
But they moved,
and he did a lot of maneuvering of that. But the one thing that I thought that was so key in the matchup, and I thought the matchup would be more against the safeties than it was the linebackers, but the linebackers' ability to play in space. That is something that going back years past, especially last year. Look, not to say that Leighton Vander Esch was not a good linebacker. He was. But just being able to run out in space and being aware, conscious, keeping that same leverage, you saw that a lot from the linebackers yesterday.
Yes, you did.
And then also being able to get out into the flats. Now, my expectation with Diggs was a little bit different. I thought they would play more zone with Diggs than anything. And you saw them change the coverage up a lot. And just the fact that everybody was running to the ball, you saw the pursuit angles that these guys were taking. And I'm like, look, number one, every team that we face, week one all the way through 18, they have ran the ball at us. How effective would we be in stopping the run? And you saw right away, nobody's talking about it, Mozzie Smith had a good game.
There it is.
Mozzie Smith
There it is.
had a good game. He wasn't out there doing the hokey pokey.
Nah, he wasn't. No white tees.
No.
He had a black tee on. He was cool. He was cool. He had a black tee
That's
on.
what I'm saying. You saw Mozzie Smith and this defensive line was holding their position and allowing the linebackers to run, but also, Barry, pointing out what you said about not only Tank, but Micah. How was Coach Zimmerman going to use Micah Parsons? And to me, he said, I'm not changing the recipe. I'm going to move you around. I know exactly what kind of player you want to be. And like you said, he was absolutely relentless, but he was so disruptive that at times, and I'm just taking a sample size of the first half. 23 plays, 53 yards in the total.
That's wild.
That is complete and utter domination. And look, first week of the NFL, I understand I'm not about to jump out the cake yet. I'm on my way. But that, to me, was the telltale sign that we needed to see from this defense, that obviously as you go through the season and you look to the playoffs, and obviously you can only go to the next week, but just based off of what we saw last year, they looked like the attention to detail at stopping the run is there.
Oh, it was there. And when you talk about, the missile, the bazooka, when you talk about how does he get to his game to the next level, because we understand the pass rusher he is. He's a pass rush specialist. That guy gets after the quarterback like none other. But did you see how he was against the run game as well? Absolutely. I mean, the guy was penetrating and making sure that everything wasn't just let me get the quarterback. Let me affect the game in other ways. He was an able and good run defender. Then you look at the interception that Kendricks had.
Absolutely.
He didn't just beeline it straight at the quarterback. He was like, okay, they left me unblocked for a reason. Let me put the light bulbs are turning in there. Something's going on. Quick pass. Let me get my hands up. Something may happen. Tip the ball in the air, creating another turnover for this defense. I loved every part of his game there, but that, as a defense as a whole, not only were they fast, because you saw the speed pop off the tape, but you know how physical those guys were? I mean, they were coming downhill like none other.
Yeah.
I mean, and what I love the most, and I know Rob Marinelli would love this as well, is it wasn't just let me tackle this guy to the ground. When you hit the ground, there was about 3 or 4 different hats jumping on you. D-Law coming in there giving you some.
Right.
Kendricks coming giving you. The safeties coming down there and giving you some. The hitting was at an all-time high. I love the way they were finishing each and every play. You saw how those Browns players were getting up slow there. Man.
that stuff hurt.
That stuff hurt when you got guys just piling on you. It ain't just one-on-one tackles out there. So to me, that was a big aspect defensively, and the communication was key out there. You didn't see any explosive plays. Wide receivers weren't running scot-free open deep in the middle of the field. Everything was kept in front of this defense, and that's what you love to see. That was winning football right
Hey, man, and Donovan Wilson made a tackle. I said, boy, that looked like a young Barry Church.
Yeah, he brought the shoulder with him. So he's like, he got up talking that talk. Man, you love it. You love it. That's good football.
Hey, we got more coming for you, man, but we got to talk about these rookies. The Cowboys started 3 rookies. Hadn't done that, I believe, since 2020. Started 3 rookies on opening day. We'll be right back with more Players Lounge.
Are you the 2024 Dallas Cowboys Fan of the Year? The Dallas Cowboys and Captain Morgan are celebrating extraordinary, inspiring, and original fans. Nominate yourself or the biggest Cowboys fan you know for a chance to be named the 2024 Fan of the Year and win prizes, including a trip to Super Bowl 59. Visit DallasCowboys.com/Fan of the Year. Go Cowboys!
Hey there, Cowboys Nation. Kyle Yeomans here, sharing that same team that brought you Buffalo, bringing NFL casino games that show America's team on and off the reels. Aristocrat is changing the game with a new experience. Football fans, this means you can pick your team and play your team. Check out the Cowboys-themed casino games developed by Aristocrat, a proud sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Gambling problem? Please contact the U.S. National Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-GAMBLER for 21 and over.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Back to the Players Lounge.
Mexi Tour is back. Head to AT&T Stadium on Tuesday, September 10th for a showdown between the Mexican and Canadian men's national teams. Don't miss another exciting soccer match in Arlington. Tickets are on sale now at SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing partner of AT&T Stadium. Training camp is in Frisco. Thank you for coming back with us on the Players Lounge, sponsored by Aristocrat Gaming. Heckman Harrison and Barry Church.
What's happening?
My man, Newey Scruggs, is making his way back on the airplane from Cleveland, being mistaken for Al Roker.
I gotta hear it.
I know you got a story.
Got to.
You know you got a story for us. But, man, I want to give out a game ball. I want to give out a game ball today for one of 3 rookies. And now it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And I'll illustrate it like this. I'll say it like this. All right, for your offensive rookies, your center, Cooper Beebe, had never played center. He was hiking the ball to his mom on a lunch break.
That's what I seen it. I seen it there, you know.
And so he goes from hiking the ball to his mom on lunch break to starting in the NFL versus the number 1 defense.
Ooh.
Okay? Then we're going to go out to the left tackle, Tyler Guyton, rookie. Never played left tackle before. Okay? Gets an opportunity to play left tackle in the NFL. Oh, blessings all around. But he's going up against Myles Garrett.
He was defensive player of the year. I mean, we all
Defensive
understand.
player of the year, Myles Garrett, first game of the season. Okay, not much to worry about. That won't keep you up at night, right? But then on the other side, Kalen Carson, a rookie, now has an opportunity to go up against Jerry Jeudy and Amari Cooper. So with the performances that you saw on Sunday, if Barry Church is handing out a game ball, who is Barry Church handing that game ball out to?
Man, look, I understand, the 2 offensive linemen, they were dealing with a lot. When you talk about rankings, when you talk about Myles Garrett coming out the edge, the way they move him around, both of those guys, BB and Guyton, got their fair share of Myles Garrett out there. But, I got to keep it on the defensive side of the football. I got to keep it on the defensive side of the football. And I got to go with my man Carson. I mean, now you out there. And cornerback is one of the toughest positions in football. I mean, because you understand you got help sometimes, but you're on the island out there. If you mess up or if something goes over top of your head, the camera's on you. They zooming in on that 2-1 like this is him. They following you from the play all the way to the sideline. Like, man, even on the bench, you sitting there, they got the camera on you. Like, man, this dude got burnt. But to me, I think he performed extremely well out there. I mean, given the circumstances, you get thrown out there week 1. Like you said, the weapons he was going against, Jerry Jeudy, Cooper, the boys out there, you going against all-stars. And he was able to go out there and not only hold his own, but he held it down. I mean, you look at it, the man was breaking on the football. He was getting contested passes. I think he had 2 pass breakups. Should have had an interception. That hit over your hands, McDowell. You got to come down with that. But overall, man, I was surprised, pleasantly surprised by his performance out there, filling in for Deron Bland. That's another thing. You got big shoes to fill. Deron Bland's the definition of a ball-hawking corner. So, to me, he went out there, held his own. You didn't see anything over top of him. He was in position. He helped this defense out immensely. So I got to give my game ball because, love the defensive side of the ball. Yeah. You got to give it to Carson.
So I absolutely knew that's where you were going and didn't need to be, I knew that's where
you knew. You knew what it was.
And I'm telling you, I felt like Al Harris was going to have Kalen Carson ready to go. Yeah, and so if anybody was going to have him prepared and ready to go, it was going to be Al Harris. He knows that, look, all of the potential that Carson had in him, the things that you saw during during the preseason, and everything you saw from him out in Oxnard, he just continued to just build upon what you had already seen. Yeah. On the other side, man, for those 2 offensive linemen, we hadn't seen a lot, and there was nothing really positive coming out. I think we talked about Guyton. You guys said it all week. Guyton is going to get help. They're going to chip. They're going to bring tight ends. They're going to get him. He's not going to be man-to-man and solo in that area with Myles Garrett. So
for sure.
I want to applaud him for doing the job that he did. But to me, Cooper Beebe.
Okay.
I'm giving Cooper Beebe a game ball because, number one, the pressure is if Dak doesn't get the snap, we can't do nothing.
He's starting everything.
He starts the party. I mean, you got to give the guy that starts the party the game ball because he did a good job of, one, calling out the protections. Yeah. He's calling out the protections, letting everybody. I mean, he is the quarterback of the offensive line. So he did that. If you pay attention, go back and look at the all-22. My man is getting to the second level. He is moving earth when it comes down to double teams. I mean, look, he was effective in every way. And I think when you have a guy, and we have been for years wanting this kind of playmaker at the center position.
Since Frederick was about it.
Because and to me, I think that Cooper Beebe's confidence as it continues to grow as we get through the season, I'm telling you, this is a guy that everybody's going to be like, wow, how could you have seen that he could move from the guard position to the center position? So my game ball that I got, I'm going to my K-State emo.
Okay, emo. That's what it was. I know that connection somewhere.
See, Newey's not here, but he would have called me out on that.
He would have called you out already.
But I'm going with BB, and I thought from the rookie class, I thought that he really showed his value. And, give shout out and balls to all of these guys in the job that they did, because I thought those rookies who played outstanding. But on the other side, though, the running back room, which we had questions about the running back room.
Yeah, this is true.
Are you still in panic mode over the running back room, or did you see flashes from the running back room that made you say, look, I think we'll be okay if we're going to go with this recipe through the season?
I will say this. I liked the approach they had in this game with the running backs. I mean, you saw it. It was a running back room or a running back by committee style the entire game. Zeke got his carries. Even Deuce slid in there and got a carry or two. Then you had, CeeDee Lamb, getting a reverse in there as well. So
Cooks.
Cooks as well. So I loved how, Mike McCarthy understood that he doesn't have that extra dynamic guy that he can just turn around and hand the football to. You're going to have to sprinkle in things here and there. I think he did a great job calling that and keeping that defense for the Browns honest. So they couldn't just pin their ears back and get after Dak Prescott because they ran the ball, I believe, 25 times. They got 100 yards. So, they're averaging about a 4 clip. And to me, that's winning football. Now, the question is when it comes to that, let me give them some more flowers as well, though. The way they were able to pick up blitzes was outstanding. Whether it's, Rico, Zeke, those guys did an amazing job picking up the blitzes because, Schwartz, he was sending them from all over the place. Yep. And Dak Prescott looked pretty much for the entire day. A couple, instances here and there, but he, looked cool, calm, and collected pretty much the entire game, and that had a lot to do with those running backs picking up those blitzes. So they did an amazing job in that regard as well. But I'm not sure if this recipe can be sustainable. Like if you go out there and continuously, rotate these backs in there and clip out 100 yards, because there's going to be games when that running attack, you might rush it for 25 times, but you might only be getting 50 yards as a whole. And are they going to revert back to what they did last year when that running game isn't working that well, which is throw the football more with Dak Prescott and rely more on his shoulders? I don't think that's a recipe for success. I think that balanced attack is always the best option when you talk about Dallas Cowboys football, but I'm not so sure that this can be sustainable. It was great week 1, but we'll see what they do going further on.
Look, when I was looking at the running game, we talked about this all week, and weeks heading into week 1 about the balance that the Cowboys had to have in order to stop this Mike Schwartz defense from pinning their ears back and coming after Dak. Yeah. You had to be effective, and picking up first downs in the running game was what we had to do. You had to move the chains. Third down, you had to be big on third down. You had to be able to make those linebackers respect play action.
Exactly.
All right, and you saw throughout the entire game that was the setting that Mike McCarthy he was laying those seeds for it, and they had to respect it. Now, when it got to the point that they were just like, look, we got to play our game. And they reverted back into who they are. And that's just, we're going to blitz you.
We're going to come out,
We're going to have to come after you.
For sure.
And we don't believe that there's no way that you can find the open man. And to me, as you talk about those blitz pickups and packages, and that's what I was saying to you about. You laughed at me, but I was talking about when we let go of Pollard and what we needed from Zeke, because you needed that guy to be able to fill that A gap on those double A gaps, blitzes, but also. You saw when they went cover zero down on that pass to Cooks.
That was a hell of a play by Dak, man.
Come on, now.
That was
just so. I think really a lot of times when people are watching football, they don't realize what a pressure cooker moment that is for a quarterback when you're facing cover zero, basically.
Exactly. When you looked at it, cover zero, for those who don't know, is basically the defense is blitzing one more guy than you can pick up. Like, you don't have enough offensive linemen or backs to block everybody that they had. So one person's going to be free. And in that situation, I mean, you just saw what makes Dak the quarterback he is. Because he had a guy, number 58, I believe it was Jordan Hicks from the Browns, a linebacker, screaming right down his face. He came right through the B gap. I mean, they left, I guess they picked up however they wanted that protection to get picked up, and he happened to be the guy that was scot-free coming in there. And when you look at the play, Dak buys himself time by backpedaling a little bit. But when he launches that ball into the air, it ended up being a corner route to the back of pylon for Cooks. When he threw the ball, Cooks wasn't even in his break. Cooks was still, looking at the DB, looking at whatever he had to do. He was getting to the top of his route. He wasn't in his break, looking back, nothing like that. The anticipation and accuracy in which Dak was able to throw that pass, I mean, that was a hell of a pass and a hell of a play overall.
And that to me, just like you said, man, it showed that where Dak is at this point in his career, to be able to make that touch pass over the to the corner like that, and again catch your wide receiver in route before he even comes out of his break. It takes guys a lifetime, and when you see a guy do that in college, you're like, he's the number one.
He can do it.
He the one, because he absolutely could do it, and those are like the little things that I think for me when I'm thinking about Mike McCarthy and his offense. The way that he has these guys prepared for moments like that, and just now seeing how cool and calm Dak is, used to be, and just from my experience, used to be a situation where time out. We need to come back and talk about that. He's able to handle that, make the prognosis on the fly, and then find the open man. But to me, like I see where your questions are on the running game as far as, is this sustainable? But it's also, if it's going to be a running back by committee like this, and I'm only asking Zeke 10 carries, 40 yards, 2 catches, 9 yards. I'm asking Rico Dowdle to come in for 8 carries for 26 yards, and we're going to distribute this all the way through the wide receivers, tight ends. L Boogie.
He did have 2 catches out of it.
He did.
You think that's sustainable though? You think he can come in there and give you 10 for 50 every game?
It's hard for me. It's hard for me now to question whether he can't. If I think if your offensive line is giving you opportunities like this, and if you watch the All 22, even Rico Dowdle has some holes that he could have got through. The turf monster got him, but still, I think it's sustainable because you're not facing the number one defense in the league each and every week.
That's true.
And so if I'm not having to face that, then that gives me the hope that I can actually, that hopium that I can actually make that happen. And to me, I don't need Zeke to be 125 yards a game. I think what I'm asking Zeke to do is be fresh when his time is called, and that's exactly what Mike was giving you. He's like, look, every time I put one of these guys in, whatever the rotation is going to be, they're going to be fresh each and every time I put them in.
Yeah, and to me that goes, credit to the coaching staff, the way they rotate. They outcoached Cleveland 100% in this game, because defensively, to me, and who am I to question Schwartz? He's had number one defenses and all that, and I understand, but why are you leaving CD single? Like, I understand you got faith in your corners, Newsome, Ward, those guys are Pro Bowlers, and you got faith in your guys, but when you see they're getting wore out.
I told you.
What are you doing? And that's to say, offensively for the Browns, why are we going away? The game was maybe 7-3?
Yeah.
What are we doing? You gave Ford only had 12 carries the entire. Deshaun Watson threw the football 45 times. To me, that's just. I'm like, what are we thinking here? Like your formula is being physical and running the football.
Right.
The coach, I don't know what happens, but it's just, I don't know if they get too cute for it, or they got too much faith in what they're running here. But man, like, you got CD over there, you got a bunch of unproven talent on the other side. Man, Make them beat you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then offensively, they pulled a Baltimore like last year.
You
know what? We're going to spread it out, and we're going to throw this thing all over the yard. That's all right. You feed right into Zimmer's hand because he's going to send the dogs after you.
Say we got something brand new for y'all.
We got something. Coordinators get in their head thinking, oh, I got to show them I can do this. Man, you better turn around and hand that football off.
How did CD look?
Wild.
How did CD look? Did CD look like there was any rust?
Which is wild, no. To me, and that was surprising to me. Like, you know, after a couple plays, you would see him, him a little tired. But for him to go out there and that connection still be what it is, I mean,
there's a dot.
It was just dots. I mean, he looked unguardable.
Mm-hmm.
He looked unguardable, and I'm sure it's just going to get better and better as the season goes on. But I mean, that was ridiculous as well.
Hey man, we're going to take another break, but I got to talk some more about this linebacker room. Friday the 13th. I'm trying to come up with a good nickname for Overshawn, man.
For Overshawn?
Friday the 13th.
You got to think of something.
Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't know what it is, but
Give me until Friday. I'll have something.
You got something? We're going to come up with a nickname. Y'all help us with a nickname for Overshawn, man, because he definitely deserves one. We'll be right back here on the Players Lounge.
To kick off the 2023 NFL season, Hugo Boss teamed up with the NFL and Micah Parsons to launch an iconic apparel collection featuring hoodies, crews, t-shirts, polos, joggers, and more. The bold, unique apparel of the Boss NFL collection unites football and fashion while reflecting what it truly means to be a boss. Get yours today at nflshop.com/HugoBoss, at HugoBoss.com, and at Boss retail stores. #Be your own boss.
I'm Cowboys alumni, Danny McCray, here with Smoothie King asking, what's that sound? That's the sound of me sipping one of their power-packed smoothies with over 10 grams of protein. With real fruits and organic veggies, because at Smoothie King, what you see is what you sip. So grab a delicious Smoothie King smoothie, throw a straw in your jaw, and get sipping real. Smoothie King, the official smoothie of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey there, Cowboys Nation. Kyle Yeomans here, sharing that same team that brought you Buffalo, bringing NFL casino games that show America's team on and off the reels. Aristocrat is changing the game with a new experience. Football fans, this means you can pick your team and play your team. Check out the Cowboys-themed casino games developed by Aristocrat, a proud sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Gambling problem? Please contact the U.S. National Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-GAMBLER for 21 and over.
Raising Cane's presents the other rules of football. Rule 1. Any broadcast without the express addition of cooked-to-order Cane's chicken fingers is prohibited. Rule 12. No crinkle-cut fries, Texas toast, or craveable Cane sauce constitutes an illegal formation. And Rule 31. Anybody who loves to feed their game face is an eligible receiver of Cane's. When it comes to winning game day, Cane's rules. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love. Go Cowboys.
Back to the Players Lounge.
Are you the 2024 Dallas Cowboy Fan of the Year? The Dallas Cowboys and Captain Morgan are celebrating extraordinary, inspiring, and original fans. Nominate yourself or the biggest Cowboy fan you know for a chance to be nominated in the 2024 Fan of the Year and win prizes, including a trip to Super Bowl 59. Visit DallasCowboys.com/Fan of the Year. Go Cowboys. Back in action here for the last segment on the Players Lounge. Heckman Harrison alongside Barry Church. Newey Scruggs is in the air, and we'll be back tomorrow giving y'all all 45 of these minutes today on a Victory Monday. Oh, it feels good. It feels so good to be back and then get that dub after so much hate. The offseason was so long, BC. The Cowboys not going to make it to the playoffs. All the Dak's not worth them. Man, I'm telling you. Y'all facing the number one defense. Y'all about to go to Cleveland and get smacked. I'm telling you.
That was one for mine. I thought they was going to lose. I had them boys losing this game.
See, sometimes, man, you just get caught up in the hype, man. Your boy be trying to say, y'all be trying to help you, man. But look, and that's all right. Here we go. It's a long season. It's a long season, Cowboy Nation. We're going to win them over. So, linebacker room is something we've been talking about because you've been concerned about it. You really felt as though, look, man, they bring in Eric Kendricks. And not that you hated on Kendricks. It was just like, look, man, it's a guy that's long in the tooth. How can he impact this room? Let me tell you what I saw from 50.
Yeah, let me hear it.
dog, 50 was sideline to sideline, and he was running like he didn't have anyone on him. The other thing that I loved about this linebacker group that's different from last year, they were taking on blocks.
It's coming down
downhill, picking these guys off. I saw in one tackle, I think it was Overshawn. Overshawn is scraping. He hits the tackle. Right behind him comes Eric Kendricks underneath and makes the tackle. And I'm telling you, like, that's the beauty of playing defense, man. As you know, it's a link in the chain. All things work together, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like when you start to see a defense working that way, it's like, man, it's hard to stop a defense and guys align the way that the Cowboys was playing alignment assignment football. But the linebacker room, to me, looked like it was revamped. It was redone.
Oh, yeah. When you looked at defenses, I mean, that's what hurt this team last year. You had a lot of guys going out there, and they were effective, but there was times when, if you have force or you have contain and you go on the inside and you lose contain, right. That becomes a whole different ball game. But what you saw from this defense was, everybody knew their role and what the responsibility was. If you were supposed to go out there and make sure that running back cuts inside of you to where all your help's coming from, that's exactly what they did. There was nobody going in there and doing their own thing. Everybody was kind of like you said, link and chain. This guy's going to have the force. He's going to come in and make the tackle, or he's going to go ahead and spill and go inside, force the back on the outside, and there's going to be somebody waiting for him. So they were all locked in step together, and I think that had a lot to do with Kendricks and his communicating abilities out there. He's the quarterback of this defense. That's what I was saying, pretty much all offseason. This is the guy who's going to be the quarterback of your defense. Is he's able to remain healthy and he can go through the entire 17-game season or whatever, he's going to be a big-time contributor to what this defense has. Now, to me, you got a lot of young pups underneath him. You got Leafau, you got Overshawn, who was outstanding in that game, and that's why I believe they cannot lose Kendricks. Like, he has to be there the entirety of the season, and I hope he is, because he's that quarterback. He got those guys lined up in the right situation to where they weren't doing too much thinking. It was, you see ball, you go get ball. They were flying 100 miles an hour, and that's what he can do for that defense in there. Not only with his play and stopping a run, making plays out there, getting interceptions, but lining people up to where all they have to do is, I know my responsibility, let me go ahead and get after it. And that's what he brings to the table, and he had an outstanding game.
Man, my first thought was, that's a linebacker.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a linebacker. And you saw, he maneuvered, moved, and did everything and operated as a linebacker. And as Barry Church is letting you know, and that's why I think it's so good when you get the feedback from the players and guys that have been in the heat of that moment that understand how defense work. And I think anybody thinking you could just plug and play guys. Marquise Bell, to his credit, and I'm not trying to hate on him. I'm just saying he did the best he could do, but he was completely out of position.
100%.
It's a different read. It's a different look being that closer to the line of scrimmage than he's used to seeing from his safety position. And I think a lot of time he was just out over his skis. There's nothing he could do about it. But when you see Eric Kendricks and his communication that he's having, getting guys lined up, maneuvering Micah Parsons and telling him where, even the communication after bad plays, that kind of leadership, you've been craving for that. Yeah. You're not out there with a guy that's not sure of himself. He's been in the league for a long time. He knows what it takes to get it done. Yeah. But on the other side, for me, Overshawn. And this is a guy that, I'm going to say this, like, you hear things and you see little splashes and you're like, oh, yeah, that's good. Mm-hmm. I like that. He did all right. No. That's
popped off the tape, man.
Yes, he did. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. A guy that makes a splash play on the sack that we were just talking about. Him and Micah running at an angle, and then all of a sudden it just looked like he went in hyperdrive. And
he did take off.
Yeah, he took off. And that kind of speed, I think you see it from special players like Micah, but everybody else, you're looking to see, can they have that kind of I'm coming downhill effect on defense, and he showed that yesterday.
And that, to me, and this goes back, and not to take away from Overshawn and all those guys, they balled out. But this is, to me, why I couldn't understand the approach to this game. You got a young linebacker in there. You got a young core on the inside with Mozzie and those young boys. You got Nealon on the outside. The Browns usually have one of the most physical, complex running games in the National Football League. Guys pulling this way, counters, traps, wham blocks. You're going to get it all usually when you go against Stefanski and that, Browns offense, but they went away from it completely. And you had two young pups in there on the inside. I didn't understand it, but kudos to the Dallas Cowboys and Zimmer being ready for anything, and they took advantage of it.
Look, I'm going to go ahead and say pause early, but they came in with the beef package with Linval Joseph and Jordan Phillips, and they came in.
That is
and I'm telling you, in the second half, they made life miserable for him, man. I mean, you got two guys.
They got to rename
6'5", 6'4", 335 pounds apiece. Come on now.
Did you make that
I made
name?
that up right there.
Hey, man.
I made that up right there. But I'm saying, you come in with the beef package. You can't do nothing about that. And I'll tell you, I loved it. And also, honorable mention, Marshawn Nealon came out and balled. Hey, the rookie. The rookie came out.
He did his thing.
He did his thing, man. He didn't lose contain. And this is a game that I was thinking, I'm like, damn, Sam Williams not even playing. Think about Sam Williams and his development that he's had as an edge rusher, a guy outside. We didn't even see him, and Marshawn Nealon steps in, and he gets those sacks, man. It's guys like him, Osa Odighizuwa, as you said it, man, joined the party. Everybody came out and ball. Jay Lou.
He's feisty, man. You know he gonna chop you up every time, man. Which surprising it was. I just can't. You this bad.
Look, we did our thing. We're gonna be. We're gonna be back. We're gonna be back tomorrow at 2:00. Knew you'll be right here. I'll be over there. But no matter what, this is gonna be the Players Lounge, sponsored by Aristocrat Gaming, the beef package.
Oh no.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!